Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astottara Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adigora Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Mayapur Navadip Dhama Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 5, Frustration of the Sacrifice of Daksha, Text 11 and 12. I'll read Text 11 and then we'll recite Text 12 responsively. 12, yeah. Text 11. Amarshayitva tam asaya tejasam manyu plutam dur nirikshyam brukutya karala damstra bhirudasta bhaganam syatsvasti kim kopayato vidhatu. The gigantic black man bared his fearful teeth. By the movements of his brows he scattered the luminaries all over the skies, and he covered them with his strong, piercing effulgence. Because of the misbehavior of Daksha, even Lord Brahma, Daksha's father, could not have been saved from the great exhibition of anger. Text 12. Please repeat. Bahu evam udvignadrisha uchyamane janena dakshasya muhu maha atmanaha utpetu utpatatamaha sahasrasha bhaya avaha divi bhumau cha paryak. Bhavevam chamane Bhavevam chamane Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana Utpeturutpatatama sahasrasho Utpeturutpatatama sahasrasho Bhaya vahadi vibhumo chaparyak Bhaya vahadi vibhumo chaparyak Bhavevam udvignadrisyochyamane Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana Utpeturutpatatama sahasrasho Bhaya vahadi vibhumo chaparyak Bhavevam udvignadrisyochyamane Janena dakshasya muhur mahatmana Utpeturutpatatama sahasrasho Bhaya vahadi vibhumo chaparyak Vaishnavis. Bhave Bahu, much. Evam, in this manner, Udvigna Drisha, with nervous glances, Uchyamane, while this was being said, Janena, by the persons assembled at the sacrifice, Dakshasya, of Daksha, Muhu, again and again, Maha Atmanaha, strong-hearted, Utpetu, appeared, Utpata Tamaha, very powerful symptoms. Sahasrasha, by the thousands. Bhaya avaha, producing fear. Divi, in the sky. Bhumo, on the earth. Cha, and. Paryak, from all sides. Translation. When all the people talked amongst themselves, Daksha saw dangerous omens from all sides, from the earth and from the sky. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Daksha has been described as Mahatma. The word Mahatma has been commented upon by different commentators in various manners. Veera Raghava Acharya has indicated that this word Mahatma means steady in heart. That is to say that Daksha was so strong-hearted that even when his beloved daughter was prepared to lay down her life, he was steady and unshaken. But in spite of his being so strong-hearted, he was perturbed when he saw the various disturbances created by the gigantic black demon. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that even if one is called Mahatma, a great soul, unless he exhibits the symptoms of a Mahatma, he should be considered a Dura Atma, or a degraded soul. In Bhagavad Gita 9:13, the word Mahatma describes the pure devotee of the Lord. Mahatmanas tumam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha. A Mahatma is always under the guidance of the internal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, how could such a misbehaved person as Daksha be a Mahatma? A Mahatma is supposed to have all the good qualities of the demigods, and thus Daksha, lacking those qualities, could not be called a Mahatma. He should instead be called Duratma, a degraded soul. The word Mahatma, to describe the qualifications of Daksha, is used sarcastically. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation. While all the people talked amongst themselves, Daksha saw dangerous omens from all sides, from the earth and from the sky. Shri Shri Radharanath Ki. So, Virabhadra has arrived after being created, as Lord Shiva says, from his body, and he's striking up a very terrifying, fearsome presentation, as we read in the last few days. Thousands of arms holding thousands of weapons, garland of men's heads, hair that's on fire and tall up to the clouds. Really, really fearsome and terrifying presentation. And with him approaching the scene of the sacrifice, a huge dust storm has arisen. And everyone is wondering, from where is this dust storm coming? And then Daksha, as we start reading now, he becomes very nervous, very fearful, actually. He starts seeing these omens in the sky, these dangerous omens. You get very favorable looking omens, omens that portend some auspicious event, but these omens were very, very inauspicious. And he could perceive. In those days, people could read omens very, very nicely. Nowadays, we have all sorts of speculation with omens. What's the famous omens we get in Durban? When you're cooking in the kitchen and the pots start falling, what do they say is happening? You're going to get visitors. You'll heard that one. Or if you start coughing or choking, then they say someone's speaking about you. I have no idea where those things come from, but people really, really believe it. But here there's a whole science of omens, a whole science behind it. And Daksha evidently could read it, and therefore naturally, understanding the danger that these omens were portending, he was nervous. Like other times in the Bhagavatam we read, or in the scriptures we read, when Arjuna was returning from Dwaraka, just after the disappearance of the Lord, Yudhisthira noted various types of inauspicious omens, and he intuitively knew that something terrible had happened. And when he considered further, he kind of understood that Krishna must have left the planet, and therefore all these inauspicious signs were presenting themselves. Also, it's described when Shishupal was born, all horrible omens appeared. Very, very inauspicious omens. It was even advised, even in the case of Duryodhana, when he appeared, lots of inauspicious omens, and the Dhritarashtra was advised, you should kill this son before he grows up, because he's going to be the cause of a lot of frustration and anxiety and pain for so many millions of people. But despite seeing those omens, these personalities were fixed in their resolve. Fixed in their resolve. And we read here, Daksha, he is being described as Mahatma. And at the end of the purport, Prabhupada very nicely presents from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that the word Mahatma is being used sarcastically. Even the speakers in Bhagavatam can be sarcastic to make a point, to make a certain point. Almost in the way of perceiving what will happen in the future, how easily and how whimsically, rather, the word or the title Mahatma will be used. How whimsically it will be used. So Mahatma literally means Maha, very great, exalted, Atma, soul, very great soul. Of course, Atma, we read in Bhagavad Gita, can be used to refer to many things. The mind, the body, the heart, the soul, so many things Mahatma can be used for. But specifically, and generally we know Mahatma means great soul, and closer to us, great devotee, great saintly person who is very, very attached to Krishna. And here in the case of Daksha, he's being described as Mahatma. And Mahatma, one of the acharyas, Veera Raghava Acharya, says that this word Mahatma means steady in heart. A strong, determined person, very fixed, no matter what's happening around them, they're very fixed in what they have to do. But we understand that one is a Mahatma when they are very fixed in service. Just like Srila Prabhupada is quoting from Bhagavad Gita 9:13, Mahatmanas tu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita bhajantyananya manaso. Someone is always engaged in bhakti. Gyatva bhutadim avyam. Always engaged in bhakti. Fixed in that. So a Mahatma in the sense of a devotee of Krishna, they are identified by their characteristics of being always fixed in service. No matter what is happening around them, no matter the ups, the downs, the positive experiences, the apparent negative setbacks that are going on, still they are fixed and determined in serving Krishna. This comes to mind now. Arjuna, we were discussing him the other day. When Arjuna learned that, what was his son's name? Abhimanyu was slain in a very unfair way by 6 other great warriors, just mercilessly killed. And he was what? What was he? He was just 16 odd so years old. He was like the favorite of Krishna. Krishna was very attached to him. And still these warriors, Karna and so many others, they just killed him. And when Arjuna came back, he realized that this is what had happened. And it's described in the Mahabharata that Arjuna was beside himself in agony, in grief. He was pulling out his ornaments, pulling at his hair, ripping out his clothes, rolling on the ground, beating himself up. He was just distraught like anything. And one Indian gentleman in India approached Prabhupada in a discussion and asked Prabhupada, is this the behavior of someone who has just heard Bhagavad Gita? You know, because Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? The first sort of slight slap that Krishna gives Arjuna, asocyan anvasochastvam, pragyavadams chabasase. You are lamenting for that which is not worthy of grief. The wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So when you read that and other parts of the second chapter, it doesn't fit with Arjuna's behavior. He's lamenting, he's crying. So this man was sort of slyly challenging or subtly challenging Arjuna, Prabhupada and Arjuna, that is this the behavior of someone who has been taught Bhagavad Gita? And Prabhupada answered very, very nicely. He said, it is natural when someone very close to you passes away or goes through some difficulty. It is natural to express emotion like that. But Bhagavad Gita means, let's see what Arjuna did the next day. What did Arjuna do the next morning? He got up and he followed Krishna's instructions. He got up and fought the battle on behalf of Krishna. So this is a Mahatma. This is a Mahatma. In the face of all difficulties, even though they may be momentarily disturbed, dejected, still they continue with their service to Krishna. They continue with their sadhana. This is what makes them a Mahatma. This is what makes them a Mahatma. Bhajantya ananya manaso. They are fixed, their mind is fixed on the goal, fixed in their service to Krishna. So yeah, he is strong-hearted, strong and determined, steady in heart. This is how Daksha is being described. But he's strong-hearted for the incorrect reasons. His application of the word Mahatma or the description given to him is for all the wrong reasons. But for a devotee, strong-willed means in the face of whatever comes, they are focused on Krishna. So they can apply the word Mahatma correctly. Also, Lord Shiva, we can clearly see by the definition given in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva is a great Mahatma, clearly. He is so fixed in his meditation on Krishna, always depending on Krishna, just fixed and focused, never swayed by any distractions. Of course, here we found that he got very angry, but that anger is natural at the same time. His soldiers were obstructed, his consort was insulted very gravely to the extent that she found no recourse but to kill herself. So naturally he got angry. Because one should never tolerate the aparad to a devotee. It should never be tolerated. So Lord Shiva, always equipoised, focused in the service of Krishna. So he is a Mahatma in the true sense. And Daksha is sarcastically being referred to as a Mahatma. So as we said earlier, even the commentators are here. Who's speaking here? Is this Maitreya? Is this Maitreya speaking? Maitreya speaking to Vidura. He's also speaking sarcastically. And sometimes sarcasm can be used to more emphatically make the point that Daksha, such a duratma, such a what duratma? A degraded soul, very degraded soul. And he was actually very strong and determined. That while his daughter is speaking such harsh words, explaining very clearly his degraded position, he wasn't moved because he was so fixed in his goal of prideful sense gratification, prideful recognition. He was so fixed, he was so convinced that I deserve all these accolades that I'm demanding. I deserve all the praise that I want. I really deserve it. He was so fixed in that understanding. And sometimes you find people who are similarly intoxicated in the material world, even though outside them people can see that, wow, this person, they are so full of themselves. They are living in this deluded thing and they're thinking that I am so important, so great. But to themselves, they have no idea because they are so convinced of it. Even though someone may come and speak some reason, like someone who's so dear to you, like your own daughter, the consort of the greatest of all personalities in this creation, Sati, still they are so convinced in their delusion. This is a very deep, weird type of psychological condition, weird psychological imbalance, when someone is so convinced, despite so much of good reason. So yes, he is Mahatma, according to Veera Raghava. Very, very strong-willed, very determined and fixed in their understanding. In the purport to 9.13, that very important verse, Mahatma nastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita, we find two qualities of the Mahatma few qualities of the Mahatma that's described. One is that they are always engaged in devotional service, and the other, which is related, is that they are under the protection, under the superintendence, the care of the divine energy, the internal energy of Krishna, specifically Srimati Radharani. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, it's very often he makes this point about the definition of a Mahatma, that the Mahatma is always under the protection of the divine energy. And quite a few times on Radhastami days, Prabhupada would quote this verse, chapter 9, verse 13. He'd speak from it as his address on Radhastami. So this is the symptoms of a Mahatma. Always engaged in fixed in devotional service and under the protection of the divine energy. And Prabhupada in the purport says that a Mahatma develops. How does a Mahatma develop? How do you become a Mahatma? He says, in the association of other Mahatmas. It's not a light switch that you can just become a Mahatma. No, you develop in the association of persons who are fixed in devotional service, and you can clearly see they are being guided by the internal potency of Krishna. And so when we associate with those Mahatmas, then we become Mahatma-like. Mahatma-like not in that rigid, arrogant, headstrong way, that my understanding, my focus, my determination is correct. No, but we take guidance, we take help, we take direction, we take correction, we take recalibration from the great souls, So yes, Lord Shiva, in the view of all those in the know, like Brahma, like the great devotees, he's clearly a Mahatma. And Daksha is being sarcastically referred to as Mahatma, but the only way he could have really become Mahatma is by association and deference to Lord Shiva. But he refused to do that. He refused to do that. So this is the nature of a Mahatma, right? If they're truly Mahatma, then they'll be eager to associate and take guidance from another Mahatma. But Daksha clearly is not Mahatma. Therefore, he's sarcastically referred to as Mahatma, as indicated by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So yes, the Mahatma develops in the service. Well, association means service of another Mahatma. That's what association means. Association of a Mahatma doesn't mean hanging out with Mahatma, chilling, taking a walk on the beach with Mahatma. Of course, if Mahatma Prabhu were here, it would be nice to take a walk on the beach with Mahatma Prabhu, or any great saint. But association really means to serve. When opportunities arise, and that's an interesting statement, when opportunities arise. If we are conscious enough, opportunity is constantly there to serve Mahatma, to serve the great souls. It is always there. So association means to serve. So Daksha had the opportunity to serve Lord Shiva. to put away his pride and arrange that, yes, this sacrifice, some of the oblations should be offered to Lord Shiva. But he was so proud because he was, from the previous event that had happened, he had so severely insulted Lord Shiva. One would imagine, after insulting Lord Shiva so much, one would think, I'm sure someone should have come and spoken to Daksha. Someone spoke to him and made him realize what he did was wrong. But I don't know. I hope somebody did. I would imagine that somebody did. But sometimes, if you are so far gone, no one's going to come and tell you something. And that's another interesting indication of how far you've gone, is that when no one comes and tells you something, no one calls you out, then you must realize, hey, no one's calling me out. Something is wrong. Something is wrong here. So Daksha may have been so far gone that even Brahma, his father, may have not called him out on what he was doing. But even then too, maybe Prashuti tried, I don't know. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But still, he was so fixed in his prideful disposition that the second time around he insulted Lord Shiva through Sati, by ignoring Sati. And when we reread Sati's statements to Daksha, it's like, who could not snap out of one's illusion by hearing such intense criticism? Surely he must have had a second thought, but no, there's no description of that. He was so fixed in that determination, so very fixed. But if he had an open mind, he would have served Lord Shiva. The reason why he didn't have an open mind is because he was deluded by material consciousness. His very name is such a problem. Daksha. Daksha literally means expert. One who is expert. Imagine you're given a name from your childhood, expert, and you grow up thinking, I'm expert. No one can tell me because I am expert. I have this accolade, I have this achievement, I have done this, I have learned this, I've got this degree. These people have told me you are so good at this. Constantly being told, Daksha. Whenever your parents call you, your friends call you, Daksha, Daksha, Daksha. It got cemented that I'm so expert in everything. So he didn't have the openness to actually serve the actual Mahatma, the actual person who was Daksha, because he was deluded by material consciousness. And when one is deluded by material consciousness, that person sees everyone else from the perspective of materialistic calculation. What's their worth? What's their value? What's their expertise according to a materialistic understanding? So yes, from his materialistic understanding, he looked at Lord Shiva and he was right. That Lord Shiva is my subordinate because he is simply my son-in-law. Simply my son-in-law. He is married to my daughter. I blessed him by Kanyadan. I gave him my daughter in charity. In materialistic understanding, you give charity to someone who is less than you, isn't it? That person is more needy than you. Therefore, you give them charity. Like at the traffic lights or something. Oh, that person is begging. He must be less than me. Let me show some mercy to this person by giving charity. That's not what charity is about. Charity is not about giving to someone who is less than you. Charity should also be given to someone who is more than you. If you have the ability to see the person in their true light, you'll realize that person is more than me. They deserve my charity. So when he is giving Sati in Kanyadan, in charity to Shiva, he's really giving it to someone who's superior than him. Much superior. Anyway, he couldn't see that. He was seeing someone who is his son-in-law, his subordinate. Therefore, he had a right to insult someone who is his subordinate, who dared not to stand up in respect when he entered into the assembly the first time. So that's the concern that we should all note, that when we start seeing, especially amongst ourselves as Vaishnavas, see each other on a materialistic platform, we will fall into this Daksha mentality. And we will also become Mahatma eventually, in a sarcastic way. We will commit offenses, we will become deluded, and we will lose it all. We will lose it all eventually. Like Daksha, he lost his head, literally and figuratively. He really lost it. But we have to be trained, we have to be cautious. That's why every day we have the sadhana in the morning, right? We offer obeisances, pranams to the Vaishnavas. We are taught every day. We were hearing last couple of days in Vaishnava etiquette class, bowing down, bowing down. It's such a cliched act of ours nowadays, right? What Maharaj said, the jackknife one, up and down, like up and down. Or the lazy one, that one. Even though your knees and hips are pretty fine, but we still do that one. I mean, some people's knees and hips are not able to deal with it. That's understandable. But bowing down, obeisances sometimes even becomes just a run-of-the-mill thing. We don't think about it. But as Maharaj said, he used a nice phrase. He said, it's a deep spiritual exchange in the relationship. Bowing down. And Prabhupada once in, where was it? Montreal, he was asked a question by one gentleman that I think we are more or less equal, therefore I don't think I need to bow down. If we're all equal, yes, what's that? A saintly person sees everyone, Pandita Samadarshana, see everybody equal, therefore I don't have to bow down. Sort of an interesting logical point, right? If we all spirit souls, why do we have to bow down? And then Prabhupada got into a conversation, this man explained some of his points, and Prabhupada said, yes, you have diagnosed your own disease, you do not want to bow down. You have diagnosed your own disease. You are speaking like a big person, you don't want to bow down, but you have to bow down to birth, you have to bow down to old age, you have to bow down to disease, and eventually you have to bow down to death. So you are being forced by material nature to bow down, and here you are saying, I don't want to bow down. This is your disease, Prabhupada said. But he very nicely then clarified afterwards, says, but the point really is, where can I bow down? Where can I go to bow down where I will be happy? That by bowing down, I am not giving up anything. And that is Krishna, or Krishna's representatives, the Mahatma. So if Daksha had that consciousness, yes, he wanted to be happy, he wanted to be prestigious. And he's thinking by bowing down, offering respects to Shiva, he would lose all this. But rather he had so much to gain. So likewise, us practicing devotees, aspiring Mahatmas, really that's what we are. We are aspiring Mahatmas. We mustn't think anything less of our process. We actually want to become Mahatma, according to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna 9:13. Devim prakritim ashrita. Why are we practicing devotional service? We are desiring to be under the protection and shelter of the divine energy of Srimati Radharani. Bhajantya nanya manasa, to have our mind fixed on Krishna. This is what we want to do. So yes, in our view of each other as devotees, in our view of even the materialists, we should first and foremost focus from a spiritual perspective. And especially amongst the Vaishnavas, never use material considerations to measure each other up. One of the four types of blasphemies of the devotees, the four types of blasphemies of the devotee is, who was there yesterday and took notes? To blaspheme them for their apparent type of birth, to blaspheme them for their previous faults, to blaspheme them for faults that are, almost rectified, and to blaspheme them for one other one. What is it? Faults that they have overcome. So we look at each other on materialistic levels, we judge each other on materialistic comparisons. Oh yeah, he has this birth, or she does things in this way, or they did this. And subtly what you are actually saying, that I have a better birth, I didn't make this fault. I don't have to deal with this. So it's comparing. It's comparing. But when we compare soul to soul, we are the same in quality. We are the same in quality. Satchit Ananda. And then we just deal with the person's covering as, okay, that's there, let's help them. And let me get help to overcome my covering. So external material considerations will lead to problems and offenses, just like it happened with Daksha. Also, once Srila Prabhupada was approached by one man in India that, Swamiji, India is known to be the land of Mahatmas. So many Mahatmas you get there. But we know that the presence of a Mahatma means there is peace, there's prosperity, things are very nice, everything's very going very nice. But we see India has so much of difficulty, so much of famine, so much of malnutrition, so much of this, so many things. So why is it? And Prabhupada's basic answer to him was, the problem is that you cannot distinguish who is a Mahatma and who is not. And then Prabhupada went into this discussion. Mahatma nastu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita. This is the nature of a Mahatma. Not someone who is very expert at political diplomacy. Not someone who is very expert at wheeling and dealing in business. Those are not Mahatmas. Mahatma means this. This is what Mahatma means. So we have to learn how to recognize who is a Mahatma. And we should be eager to serve the Mahatma. Mahat Seva Dwaram Ahur Vimuktis. Bhagavatam, 5th canto, says that by serving the great souls, the door to liberation opens. And in our more developed understanding, in our Gaudiya understanding, being blessed by Lord Chaitanya, Ahur Vimuktis means, Seva Dwaram Ahur Vimuktis, the door to more service, more mature service, more developed service opens. It opens. We do one service, as my spiritual master once told, you do one type of service, you give in one service, it's a preparation for your next service. And that service is a preparation for your next experience in serving Krishna. It's just, you are just advancing by Krishna opening doors and you walking through them. Not that Krishna has opened this door for me, but I like staying in this room. Let me stay in this room. Even though Krishna is opening that door, the spiritual master is open, come through it. No, I want to stay here. So yes, Mahat Seva Dwaram Ahur Vimuktis. We should be eager that by the grace of the great saints, the Mahatmas, by avoiding measuring people up, the devotees according to their material externalities, by the service of the great saints, we'll be engaged in so much of service to Krishna. And just one small story Srila Prabhupada tells in relation to Bhajantya Nanya Manaso, to always keep the mind, Bhajantya Nanya Manaso, the mind engaged in worshipping Krishna. Prabhupada tells the story of the jinn. You know what's a jinn? A genie, like some character that you rub the bottle and out comes this person. And they both good and bad, if you can ask them for a wish. So Prabhupada tells the story of the jinn who came out of the bottle, and he tells the man who rubbed the bottle that I will do anything that you want, but you have to keep me constantly engaged. Constantly. If I have to stop for a moment, I will kill you. He tells the man. So the man got happy. Okay, that's nice. I got somebody. So he made him clean the garage. Genie went and he cleaned the garage. Came back. What next? And he couldn't pause because he would be distraught. So the man thought, okay, clean the kitchen. Genie went and did that. Clean the outside of the yard. Came back. The man was giving him so many things to do, but he was getting anxiety. There's not much things to do. And if I stop giving him stuff to do, I'm going to be destroyed by this genie. So he thought very quickly, okay, outside in my yard, there's 5 palm trees. You go up the one palm tree, you climb up to the top, When you get to the top, jump over to the next one, climb down. Then you go to the next one, climb up. When you get to the top, come down, come down. And jump over to the next one, come down. And then when you finish the 5, you go back to the first one. And you carry on doing that. So the genie went and he did that. And Prabhupada said, this is like the mind. The genie is like the mind. You got to keep it constantly engaged in Krishna's service. Otherwise, it will destroy you. It will destroy you. And Prabhupada speaks like, our japa beads is like the palm trees. You got to keep the mind going around and around and around the wooden palm trees, the japa beads. So yes, bhajanti ananya manaso. Always keep the mind engaged in Krishna's service. And be very, at the same time, one has to learn the art of identifying the great souls who are similarly engaged constantly in devotional service. And take association. And association means to serve those great souls. And at the same time, be cautious not to measure each other up from a materialistic platform. Yes, I may be older than someone else. Maybe 20 or 30 years older than them. I may have had worlds of experience. But let's not measure them up on that level, that I am so much better. And in this regard, I always look at, excuse me, Maharaj, for pointing, I always look at His Holiness Ram Govinda Maharaj. So much elder to all of us, so much more learned than all of us, so much more than so many things than me, I should say. But still eager to take association, eager to serve, eager to be in the program with everyone. That is Mahatma. That is Mahatma, really. So thank you for Maharaj for being with us. And even though I am sometimes Duratma, oftentimes you still are eager to offer service and association. Okay, we'll stop here. Are there any comments or questions anyone has? All right. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.